Welcome back, everyone, to the Peruvian Pod. This is episode 7. Glad to have all of you back. I know it's been like a pretty long time, but we were taking some mental breaks, and just wanted to relax before the year ended. But today we have Carlos with us, and also Mr. Beeb. Guys, just say hi back to your wonderful fans here.
Guys.
Yeah, hello.
So we're gonna be starting this podcast a little bit different. We're gonna be talking about, as I'm sure everyone knows here, what's going on in Congress in the recent January 6th riots that happened just about 6 days ago. But Carlos, do you want to lead on with what's your opinions about it, and like if you have any thoughts on how crappy Congress right now is, or the whole government in general, actually.
Oh yeah, many thoughts on that. Once again, guys, welcome back. Sorry it's been a while. But yeah, no, we didn't talk about things for a while. I guess for me it was key because I just feel like there wasn't many things to talk about, especially with family and everything with the holidays. But yeah, after I saw that what happened last week, yeah, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I needed to talk. Like Harold said, the state of our government and just I guess society is just crazy right now. We have people being completely unchecked when committing like felonies. We have a president, or I guess a president that's going to be impeached soon, hopefully, who keeps telling these people to go and do these attacks. It's a crazy time, and especially me living like so close to it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried as to how far these attacks are gonna extend. Um, but I definitely think that I personally think that things are gonna get a lot worse rather than better in the next coming days.
Right.
And I think, see, I understand why we want to impeach Trump. It's to prevent him from doing things in the future, not giving pension. You guys said that it's because he won't get reelected as well.
Right. If he's impeached, then he
Mhm.
won't be eligible to run as president again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
So,
he's
dude,
technically impeached, but
Right, but
yeah.
it wasn't official at
yeah,
the
it
end.
wasn't
Yeah.
official. Yeah, because of the Senate.
Yeah.
So, dude, I think that in itself is what's going to cause a lot of issues. At
Right.
this point, bro, it's a bunch of kids that are just pissed off that they didn't get like a treat from their fucking dad. Like that's sort of what it feels like to me, dude. It's a lot of people who are just super pouty that their grand leader, is trying to convince them that there was like a false election or something. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense, man. Like like the same way that these people were like, "Hey, get over it," that Trump won in 2016.
Right.
We didn't fucking go and like attack Capitol buildings and stuff, bro. If anything, like people of color, bro, like they protested it like peacefully. Comparison to what these people have done, man, is just the disparity
There, there was
between
no
people is crazy. Yeah.
political intent during the protest rise. It was more of a human rights issue than more of a
Right. Yeah. Because
fuck
I
you
see.
Republicans. Yeah,
Yeah, because I see a lot of people comparing, at least the Trump
it
supporters
it
comparing the
has nothing to do with it.
exactly the BLM movement to the riots that happened a couple days ago from the MAGA supporters.
Right.
But that makes no fucking sense.
No
One was for
comparison.
one, yeah, one there's no comparison. One was for human rights, because that is an issue. It's a huge issue in this country, and it's been less than what 160 years since 1960 something when segregation was pretty much illegal in terms of paper.
Yeah.
But it's less than 100 years ago. That shit's still wild. People of color are scared regardless of what people say.
Right.
Like I've heard people saying like, what kind of white privilege in this sense is like when you're writing a capital that you're not thinking about the possibility of getting killed. It's like you have such confidence that the police won't shoot you, or or I don't know what's going on in your mind. But as a person of color, the first thing is like, if I do this, will I will I get shot, or will I get tormented by other people around me, or
hundred
whatever.
percent.
Yeah, that's my first reaction. I don't think their reaction is like, oh wait, I'm going to storm the Capitol. What are they going to do? Shoot me? And I doubt it. I think that's just such a privilege that I wish I had. But in reality, it isn't. And those people are really stupid because they're treating Trump like as if he's like Kim Jong Il, as like their fucking supreme leader here in America.
So what they, I completely agree with you with their white privilege. What they did in general, I don't agree with what they did, but for them to have a voice, right? I mean, that's what makes
Hmm.
this country great. That
Right.
everyone has a voice of reason. Let me emphasize a voice of reason, right?
Yeah.
If you have if you have time to listen to one side and you can disagree with one another's views, it's bound to happen, right? We're not a perfect society. But once you do things that not every other everyday citizen can do. For example, like I'm a US citizen. There's no way in fucking hell I'm going into Nancy Pelosi's office and sitting there without getting shot. Like within 10 seconds, I would get shot. I'm not
Yeah.
going to a federally official elected official in her office and not getting shot. The fact, the fact that they got to do this, one, it it really shows how unprepared the DC police was. One, we can't deny that either. You know
Right.
how they had officers ready during the protests and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's kind of sad because the most that happened was because of like all the protests and rioting happened because of more police brutality that happened during these protests. This one, they were outnumbered, and it kind of blows your mind as to like you said, they didn't have the support to stop these people, and that's why it got out of control, and that's why it got to the point where it got to. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But also didn't I know
dude.
they were trying to call for backup from the
Um,
National Guard,
Hmm.
but the Trump denied it. But
Yeah,
it
the
was
he,
It was
Pentagon.
but it was Pence who authorized it later on because Trump denied it at first. Um, but even then, it's crazy to think that they were even able to just get into the freaking Capitol Hill, like what Capitol Hill, and be
they,
able to go around in there, and then take pictures, take podiums.
they
I'm
took
like, what?
they sat in official buildings. They
Exactly,
had
man.
classified documents on those tables, and they just sat there, stole crap, and then just left
Yeah, I
like
mean,
nothing happened.
and they even had the audacity of selling the podium on eBay
Oh my
for a
god,
couple,
yeah, dude. It's
couple hundred.
dude. It's because these people they can't be touched, man. And,
It,
like,
it,
yo,
I
even if
mean,
they even if they get tried with these fucking like felonies and stuff, dude. You know,
Well,
the
like,
confidence though, man. Like
oh yeah,
you steal it and then you purposely put it on eBay out of all
it,
things with the information of your personal of yourself. It's like what the fuck?
people aren't saying domestic terrorism enough. Like that
Right? Yeah, they
that
aren't.
was a terrorist attack. Like I
it's
don't
not protest.
understand.
It's not protests.
There was no protest. They were
Yeah,
Right.
threatening. People came in with guns holstered in their pockets and knives with an
Yep.
agenda.
Pipe
That
bombs
is
too.
domestic
yeah.
terrorism.
There were bombs there, bro. Like they found a cooler full of bombs, and then they found like other things that could have been used to create explosions, bro. It just doesn't make sense.
In Washington D.C.
Yeah,
of all
Exactly,
places.
man.
In Washington D.C. of all places.
dude,
Like
I'm scared to walk near the White House when it's late at night, dude. Like because I'm afraid, I don't want to interact with these like Capitol Police, dude.
Hmm.
Because yo, my whole life, man, I've been told, yo, just don't mess with anything near the federal grounds, all that stuff.
Right.
And
I
then,
mean, we have the right. I like again. There's a difference between privileges and right. Right. You
hmm
have the right to visit these places because it is your taxpayers' money. They
yeah,
can't
Right.
stop us from going in. But to do what they did is an extent of like immense measures. Like for example, you defacing the Lincoln Memorial. Can you go sit on them? Can you go take pictures? Yeah, dude. Of course you can. You can go take pictures. You can go visit it. That's fine. But like if you go up there with like spray paint, your ass is gonna go to jail, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It's the same concept.
It just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense, man. Like the one thing that I will give, well, okay, I think the main reason why this all happened, dude, and there's this like such large number of people supporting this MAGA guys. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and be like our government's perfect, dude. No, our government sucks.
Yeah.
A lot, dude. Like it really
Yep.
does, man. Like they have not helped people who needed help, man. Like what
Yeah.
sucks, dude, is that a lot of people that have turned, I guess, to the dark side, I guess we could call it, are I guess did it out of necessity, man. It's because they probably felt like they were the only people that could like listen. But the
Yeah.
thing is, dude, it's just like Trump isn't gonna do that, bro. Trump isn't gonna like help you, like all this stuff, dude. Like the way that Trump like acted after he lost, right? Like he was like creating that fund to
Like a
help pay
child. Yeah.
to help pay for his debts and all this stuff. You know, dude, it's just I think people are. It was a perfect storm, man. Like people were pissed off at the government. Trump is completely opposite of what other elected officials are, and people just like I guess like they mounted onto his train. But dude, like the government did a lot of bad things, dude. Like it really did, man. Like I'm not happy with the government, dude. Because I mean, all of us, in this conversation, luckily we were set up in the way where the pandemic didn't completely kill us, dude. But I know people who the pandemic has done terrible things for, dude. Right?
I mean,
So it's just like it's the perfect storm. Like
Yeah.
one of the things, man, that at least I don't appreciate is with the is with what's been happening, man. It's just like you said, dude, with the whole impeaching Trump.
Right.
I do think it's a waste of time, to be honest. Like I don't after this year, dude. I really don't think there's a chance that a man like that is gonna become like a president, dude. And if it happens again, dude, then I might have to leave the country, man, because this place isn't the place that I thought it was.
Yeah.
Right? Like, dude, we're wasting so much time on these like stupid. Dude, these are basic rights, man.
Right.
These are basic. People aren't asking for special fucking treatment, dude. Like we're just asking to not like be fucking shot if we do something that a white person would do, right? Like we're asking for people to like. I get even when they look us through like a profile, like through a job interview, right? Like, I don't want to get fucking hired because I'm a fucking brown person and they needed me for some quota, right? Like, there are these things, dude, that like I think if people would just sit down and conversate with one another, man, like there's no fucking logic in this fucking country anymore, dude. Like,
the thing with conversations like that happening is like
it's not going to.
it's
It really isn't.
I mean you have a really good point that you bring up. It's just more of like everyone feels like they're secluded, right? We're all entitled to our own opinions about how we feel about one another, especially when it's about race.
Yeah.
And when a group of people is so secluded from what reality actually is. Like one of the greatest things is us living in the Northern Virginia area. Dude, we don't know, like the rest of America isn't like this. Like the rest of America, like 70% of America, dude, is all of like these rural, like, white, very white towns, conservative views. And that's just because that's how it happens everywhere, like everywhere across the world. Like in Bangladesh too. In Dhaka, it's like Northern Virginia. Very diverse. You're walking down the street, no one's gonna say anything. Girls are wearing shorts, and I'm bringing that up is because it's a majority Muslim country, but like when girls are wearing that, they're not gonna bat an eye, right? But now, say you go into these rural areas where there's a lot of more conservative people, a lot of more family oriented based people that don't really like outsider views. They will look at you funny and they will question you. They'll think ill things about you in a way, but it also stems from ignorance, not more of like they hate you. It's more of like it's very ignorant, and that's what we need to realize. Like, dude, we living here well, I mean, we've all experienced racism hand in hand, but the fact that we're lucky enough to see different types of races in our area is a blessing because, again, the rest of the United States is not like this. Like
Right.
Austin, New York City, Buffalo, Chicago, Los Angeles, like those are just where a lot of people live. That's a small territory with a huge population. But
Mhm.
the rest of those states, like again, us leaving like an hour out of Northern Virginia, Carlos, we saw it. We literally
Yeah,
saw what an
Trump.
hour out of
It's,
Northern Virginia looks like.
it's 30 Trump
That
signs, dude.
yeah, that's America. That's the rest of America. We're just living in a very insignificant little spot, but that's the rest of America, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
that has more to do with like us educating people and like and them also. Like we shouldn't be responsible for how they feel, but I
Right.
feel like the difference with ignorance is you have to like, you know, show them this is not who you think we are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about?
No, yeah, I like completely agree with that. Yeah, like a lot of the country is rural areas, right? Like
Mhm.
go to the middle states. Yeah, no, like I agree with that, dude. Like a lot of it is ignorance. Like these people just don't know because they just get shoveled like Republican ideas, Republican networks, all these
Right.
things. Um, which sucks, dude. It really does. Cause I've like one of the things that I personally think, bro, is just like I don't get why especially nowadays, dude, like I really hate this thing called like the cancel culture, right?
Mhm.
um Personally, dude, because all right, man, like I agree people have like skeletons in their closet, right?
Right.
There are sometimes things, dude, don't like they can be taken out of context, I guess I would say, right?
Yeah. Most of the
um
time.
Most of the time, right? So which is why, like, when these things happen, dude, it's fuck, hold up, completely lost my train of thought. So I was
Okay.
saying with
Cancel
the
culture and
people.
how people are so quick to judge.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude, so the cancel culture, right? So dude, and that process, man, like it it really turns like people completely against you instead of being, instead of like attacking like a person, right? Like, dude, there are ways to communicate to them, right? Like,
Right.
there are ways to be like, hey, like, before this person completely like turns against us. Like, I at least that's what I've seen, at least from like celebrities at this point with the whole like Trump thing.
Mhm.
Dude, I saw this at least with like a couple celebrities, dude, where I guess I could tell that they were like on the fence between like, I guess, MAGA and then the like the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And then once people started like being like, "Oh, you're fucking like, you're wearing this, like you're a fucking like racist, all this shit."
Right.
It just, it immediately makes it's like human nature, dude. It makes you just wanna defend yourself and then just see the other person as an opponent, which is what I think is
Right.
happening, dude. Like people, like dude, I personally, like last year, man, like I was really all about like, fuck like white people, all this stuff. A part of me still thinks about it, dude, just because I think that they are the root nature of, or at least their ignorance is the root nature of all this, dude. And the only way you can fix ignorance is by taking it upon yourself to ask yourself these questions, right? Like we're all capable of asking ourselves these questions, right? Like we're all capable of like looking around our environments and being like, hey, like, what's going on around me, or like what is my stand on what the fuck is happening? Not some news anchor, right, telling me, oh, this is what happened, right? Like I guess people just don't have time to have self thoughts, so they just cling on to the easiest like take. And
Yeah.
for a lot of these people, bro, like a lot of these white people that live in these rural areas, I mean, the only takes they can grab onto is a Republican
And
thing.
people are so quick to judge too, man. Like, not, dude. When we say like white people, right? It's not. It's like coming after. Like, it's like coming out. You know when girls say like, "Oh, all boys do this," or like, "Oh,
Hmm.
Right.
only men do this." They don't mean literally every single boy on this planet Earth. Yes,
Right.
there
Hmm.
are a lot of piece of shit men, dude. But like, they don't literally mean everybody. Same shit when we say white people.
But see, dude, like
Thing is, the thing with like the cancel, like again with the
hmm
cancel culture, a lot of white people are very, I guess, afraid to speak out, especially on social media. Is when they say something and then in the comments they'll be like, oh, like you're only doing this for clout. You're only doing this. I'm like, dude, at least they're saying something.
At least they're
You know what I
bringing
mean?
attention to it.
Yeah, like, dude, you're like, you saying, oh, you're only doing this for clout. You white people don't care. That's even more divisive. You know what I mean? That's not helping your cause whatsoever. You're gonna be more afraid to express your views on anything. So I feel like a lot of people, when they say like, oh, white people should take initiative in order to say something, I feel like if they do, there are also so much negative backlash that comes with it, saying like you're only doing this for clout or you're only doing this for this. You know what I mean? Like, how can you prove yourself as a white person in society that you have contributed to the efforts in helping with like this so-called like modern day segregation between every other race and white people? Because it's not just black people that have a problem with it. It's literally every other race. You know what I mean?
No, and
it's this
dude,
race versus white people. This race versus white people.
and also like with this whole cancel culture, man. Like, you know how, dude? I don't want to be like, I'm smart, and then like, these people in the rural areas are fucking like idiots.
Yeah.
But dude, sometimes, man, I really think these people are fucking idiots, man. Like, do you lack a sense of logic in your fucking body, dude? Like I said, dude, like there are some things, man, that you see and you just have to explore for yourself, right? I guess that's one of the reasons why I get pissed at these people is because I feel like they don't do that. Like they don't ask themselves, hey, like why do I hate colored people, right? Like what have they done to me, sort of thing, right? Because a lot of dude, at least me being coming from like a Latino household, dude, like my parents try to pass down a lot of traditions. A lot of things have stuck, but some of them are more like extreme, I guess, ideas. I haven't, I'm not gonna follow it, right? I'm not gonna make it something that I'm gonna teach my kids and stuff. Because, dude, you know what I did? I took a day out of my fucking life to sit down and be like, hey, what do I want, like, to teach my kids, right? Like, because it's up to us, dude. Like, we're the next generation, right? Like, the whatever attitudes our kids have, dude, are gonna come from us. Cause we learn everything from our parents, man. Like
That's
learn.
very true.
Yeah.
And like even between you and you and Harold, like
Mm-hmm.
we're very lucky enough to experience other cultures. Like I feel like if I
Right.
was raised in a different setting, again, like you said, like how stupid and how ignorant can you be to like hate somebody else? I feel like when you're so stuck in the same repetitive like environment that you start to develop these hateful feelings from a younger age, which stems when you get older. You know what I mean? It's very hard to change the point of a view. Like we've had these conversations a lot, especially when you're in your apartment. Like we've talked about how like, our parents are never gonna change. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
We just kind of have to deal with it. I feel like you have to give these people in the South the same benefit of the doubt, right? Like you can change, but it's gonna take a while. So what's
Oh
the
yeah.
best option we have is to educate their younger ones, because that's the conversation we have. Like I feel like we're all like me, and Harold can speak on this, that we're very much different from our parents.
Oh
We
yeah.
have, like you said, we hold some of the moral values that they have taught us, but we are very different from our parents in aspects of like social culture, how we go about things, American culture. There's different stuff like that. You know what I mean? Stuff that maybe it's a little too late for them to understand, but
Oh yeah.
you kind of accepted that fact, right? So I feel like it's our responsibility to help the youth and help them like get accustomed to these things. Like I can't imagine in my head telling my child, hey, you see that white kid over there, don't hang out with them, white people aren't good. I will never do that.
Yeah.
I will never do that. There's no reason for me to. Now if little Billy is smoking a cigarette at the age of 8 years old, then yeah, I'll probably tell him not to hang out with Billy, dude. But
Yeah.
like,
But it would be
other than
the
that,
same if like
yeah,
Billy was like Jose,
yeah,
Like it'd be the same. It'd be like the same for me. But see, dude,
yeah,
the thing for me is just like how we say like we have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
yeah.
But dude, like, what is it gonna take for them to snap out of it, dude? Like,
Them moving, them
yeah.
traveling, them coming here,
Yeah.
But see,
experiencing different cultures.
but
Because like,
even
dude, when you have like a McDonald's and like
Mhm.
a Burger King as your go-to spot in the middle of buttfuck Tennessee, then
Mhm.
you're not gonna experience culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very
But see,
true.
dude, like these people, man, like you're looking at this shit in the news. Like you're looking at these like
Right, but I
things.
mean, even the news is like targeted
Mhm.
to specific agendas, no
Yeah.
matter where you live. Like Fox News is very
Oh
conservative,
yeah,
so they're
oh
targeted
yeah.
more conservative. So their news outlet is very limited, even
Very,
if
yeah.
they are
Mhm.
like trying to like figure out, like even
Mhm.
they've been like searching on Google.
Mhm.
There's been proof that depending on your zip code,
Mhm.
certain things pop up
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
your
certain
Google
things don't.
searches change. Your
Oh
Google
Yeah,
yeah,
searches
yeah.
change.
Dude, I get all that. I get, but the thing is, dude, it's like, all right, dude. Besides that, yo, like,
Mhm.
yo, everyone is online at this point, right? Like,
Right.
people have some
yeah,
sort of online presence. Dude, I can't go anywhere online. Like, and I do this thing where I sometimes I go in incognito and I go on Twitter because I don't want things that are that I guess I look at to be given to me. Like I just want whatever,
Right. Right.
Even then, dude, like I go and the first thing I see is just posts about what's happening,
Right.
right? So, dude, like I think we're at a point, like, dude, I think this is the point before we actually go to fucking war, like with each other, because I think people are at that point, man. Like it's like
It's
it
you.
I don't know like what it's gonna take. Like,
It
but dude, 'cause
also
mhm.
it also differentiates from an education standpoint, right? Because our education system has failed us too. Because, dude, Carlos, right now, if you go into a city in Kentucky and like you just like you stand there, you will like there are towns there that you will be the only one that has
Mhm.
passed high school, and it can even go further than that. You'll be the only one with an associate's degree, and you might be the only one with a bachelor's degree in in that entire county. That's how bad our education system has gotten us. Yeah, like if that makes sense. Like because I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
no,
I feel like you learning and me learning and like Harold learning in this type of environment and like getting the education that we needed and traveling, across like our own country as well as overseas has got us to make us understand like, we learn and we can differentiate. But like if some
mhm.
mom in like that barely passed high school, you know what I mean? And a lot of people have different, they have upbringings, and like white people also like suffer through, what do you call it, being poor. It's not just
hmm
colored
oh
people.
Yeah,
White
yeah, no,
people
I
also
know,
be poor.
yeah,
So like when their education is limited and then they go on online, and it's not like I'm not trying to be like a socialite. Like I'm trying to like see like common thing. Like you and me, when we see a fake post, you can automatically tell, right? Yo, this is BS. Like this is made up. It's not the same thing as like some lady in her like late 20s, early 30s that has no understanding of like what deep fakes are, or what like fake
yeah,
news, stuff like that is. And like the only fake news that she's hearing is obviously from our president because he's all over the place. But if she's seeing misinformation online, that's obviously fake, and she shares it with her little like 100 cohort circle, and those 100 people share with other 100 people, like that's how these ideologies start. Like just like how Harold said, like our search engines change, and
hmm
the fact that they can't differentiate between fake and real news is based on our education system. Like they're not intelligent. In I hate saying that because I sound like a fucking
no, dude,
asshole.
it's no. I
But
mean, yo,
like
we have to be blunt, man. Like
yeah,
these people are not intelligent at all.
but
Like,
like
and
their education is so limited that they don't have the necessary capabilities of differentiating between a fake post and what's real and what's fake. That's the point I was trying to make.
oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean? And that shit just spreads like wildfire. Like,
but see, dude, like what sucks is that like a lot of these programs, I guess that Democrats and stuff would create, dude. I don't think these like people realize that because you're white, it also will help you. You know,
yeah,
if anything, it's gonna help you fucking more because you don't have to jump through any hoops to get these programs, right?
right.
It just, dude, I'm sorry, man. It just sucks, dude, because it's like I get pissed just looking at it because I'm like, there's no way that these
no,
people don't realize, dude.
I completely
Right.
understand your frustration. Like, that's
Dude, all right,
definitely something to be.
like, dude, okay. At least, let me use this as an example. All right, how is it, dude, that I'll use myself as an example, I guess, right? How is it that a fucking like I when I came here I was like 8 years old, right?
Mhm.
Bro, I had to fucking learn another language. I had to help my parents with all this shit, right?
Yeah,
Bro, like at 8 years old, man, like we had to make a fucking like change, right?
right.
Dude, like you know, we had to make that fucking change because things were bad, right? Like instead of bitching and being like, oh, like, you know, this we went to work and all this shit. So it's like, yo, how come people can do this, right? Like they can drop everything and restart and all this shit and change ideologies, which is what I did, dude. Like when I remember when I was like in high school, dude, I would hang out around a lot of white people. I didn't realize back then that they're like the type of jokes they would make and shit. Because I wasn't like, I didn't really care about it because I would also fight back. You know, I would
do or die situation.
Yeah, it was like you either assimilate or you get, you know, fucking like
Bullied.
thrown to the side. Yeah, so
Exactly.
you know, it was just that. But the thing is, like, dude, even doing that, you know, like, dude, like, people have to have some sort of logical bone in their fucking body, man. Like, I don't know what we need to do to get these people to like realize that. Right. Like, I really don't know, dude. Like, it's just, it sucks, dude, because I personally think we're gonna get into some really, really bad stuff.
Like, I had a question for both of you. Actually, that's a really good point that you bring up. Our parents came to this country for a better opportunity, and eventually, we're not going to be that generation anymore. Correct? Like, our kids are not going to be that generation of, hey, like, you know, I immigrated here, or like my parents immigrated here, because I didn't immigrate here. I was raised here, so their understanding will be different, right? So you think, like, not from our own teachings, because, you know, we all die, we'll all pass away soon. Like, eventually, from our generation that goes on, do you think there's going to be susceptibility of our own bloodline thinking the same way that these white people do when people from other foreign countries come here to like immigrate? Because I feel like there is a trend going on, right?
Yeah.
When you're so comfortable with like what you've grown up with and what you've been around, their cultural background, that struggle, like that quote unquote struggle that, you know, the first generation and the second generation went through as kids, right? Immigrant children or like parents of immigrant children, they won't have that. They'll grow up in a society where everything was given to them, and they're also like knowledgeable enough to know what they're doing. Right? We speak English and we also speak another language. You both speak Spanish. I speak Bengali. I speak Urdu. You know, like we speak two languages, but they may want to learn another language, but their main language will be English, and their main home country will be the United States. So my question to you is, will they become like these white people?
Hell no.
Like their mindset as well.
Dude, I'm here, you go first. I'm gonna talk for a while.
You're good. So I think it's a real possibility because I've seen it happen. In the sense that because, you know, once you live life easier than your parents, you start to see things very differently. You can't really understand their pain from where they came, because because even here there's like a lot of influx of conservative Latinos that voted for Trump. But if you, yeah, exactly. If you see like the statistics, they were second generation, third generation Latinos, because they were so you know, separated from their own culture. Maybe it was the parents' fault as well for not like wanting them to expose their children to that culture, because, you know, it was rough. No one wants to see mom and dad where they lived in a shack or anywhere like that. It's just nature. But I think it's very possible. I think it's going to be a little bit different if, you know, things are taught really well in schools. If, you know, information is not censored as much as it could be. If even if ourselves as parents, for the future growth of our kids, teach them, bring them to trips back to our own parents' home and see, like, this is where, you know, this is where your grandma started. They started in this very crappy home. Because I'll tell you a story from mine. Because when I went to Peru, visited my my grandparents for the first time in Cusco, that house was a shit show, man. It was made of bricks. The roofing was the tin can aluminum. So you find like those like movies that you see online or the movies. No heating, no AC, no running water. Forget about a hot shower if you ever wanted, when you had to boil water first and then like pour it all over you. And then when I saw it, when my dad first saw it, he cried. He cried a lot because he realized what a shitty situation he grew up in, and he came to this country. There was a TikTok I posted on my Instagram. Even as scary as it is for us right now as a generation, and taking like chances on everything we do, nothing will
Right.
be ever be as scary as your parents packing up their shit, coming to a
Right.
whole new
Leaving.
country, leaving their friends and family behind, learning a new
Right.
language, getting a job, and being at where they are right now.
Right.
There's nothing that we will be able to do that will top that. I personally think that's true because to be honest, I wouldn't want to fucking leave and start
Yeah.
all over again, learn a new language. Like, I mean, unless it was for fun,
Exactly.
but that's a different story. That's personal
Right.
enjoyment. That's everything else. But they did it because the best they could do over there is either drug deal or maybe in hopes of getting education. But that shit's expensive regardless of where you go.
Yeah.
And so
You
I
you brought up a
hopefully
great.
I think. Give me one second. So hopefully I think that I would teach enough of my children the background of my parents' home, how they grew up, and hopefully I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but that that I have other people encouraging them as well. I'll have them. I don't know, make them join charities or whatever. Send them out of country and explore different places around the world to be like, hey, you're very very lucky to have what you have right now. But it
Yeah.
isn't because of being lucky. It's just you're just because of your parents' hard work. Because it starts from somewhere, and you
It
can't
starts from
forget.
somewhere.
Yeah, you can't forget where you're from because that's when it becomes dangerous, and that's when you become ignorant or ignorant. I don't know.
Ignorant.
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 And
Yeah.
you
Um.
you brought up the good point, bro. Like about you saying like a lot of like third generation kids about not visiting their home place. I'm not gonna drop the name. I know a Bolivian that's third generation right now. His parents own a car dealership in Vienna, and he voted for Trump, and he's never visited back. And he was in my group actually at Mason. He's
Mm.
never visited like back home, and he did. America is the only place that he knew, and like he has just a family line of just conservative, which is
Mm.
wild to think about. Wild to
Right.
think about because you live from two different spectrums, right?
Right.
Like, it's just crazy to think about. But like then you understand why they did what they did or what they believe in what they believe, and I guess that's where you find a middle ground. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I
It's
completely
all
agree.
about like opening your information up. Like traveling is a wonderful thing. You'll if you go to other countries, you'll question like why do I do the certain things I do, but they do
Exactly.
something
Mm.
completely different. Like even a stupid example is in Japan. When I went there, slurping is very common.
Yeah,
Um, it makes food taste well. That's from their culture, right? But
yeah.
if I bring it here at home,
It's rude.
I'm risking the chance of getting hit in the head for being rude,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or be like, what the hell are you doing?
yeah. You're
That
right.
is so barbaric. But the thing is, it's barbaric in our culture, but it's not
Right.
barbaric in another culture. So who's to say our culture is better than theirs
But
and is
this
right? It makes
exactly.
no sense to me, and that's what I try to explain to my parents, which is very really really hard. They kind of
It's
got
so
it, but they're like, "No, don't do it here." And I also get their aspect as well. If you're somewhere at the place, respect their culture, and if you're
right.
another place, respect their culture as well. But I'm
Exactly.
also like, let's have the conversation of why do you think it's rude, and who told you that it was rude, and why did you believe it?
See, but the U.S. it doesn't make any sense though because we don't have culture. Our culture is a
Exactly.
melting pot.
That's why
Our culture is
traveling is
a
so
pot.
wonderful.
The mixture.
Yeah, really. Even if you're traveling
It,
to a bigger city, you'd be like, oh damn, there's like a lot of colored
it
people here.
opens up your
Or
mind, dude. It
yeah,
opens up your mind. Like traveling is one of the best advice I can give to someone, dude, because like if you have the means, obviously. If you have the
Yeah.
means and you can travel.
I mean, dude, you can, bro. The thing is, man, traveling, you can travel like an hour away, right?
That I understand that, but like
Yeah.
I'm talking about like why do our different cultures eat the certain way we do? Like for
Oh
right,
yeah,
example, if
yeah.
a white person comes up to me and like I'm eating with my hands, we do eat with our hands. The first thing is that's fucking disgusting. Do you know why we do it? Do you know where it comes from? Have you seen a country full of people doing it? No, you haven't.
right,
Any parent like outside of our culture will say that.
Mhm.
Like if another Bengali person came up to me, it's nothing. You know what I mean? It means nothing. Or Indian person but any other race that comes up to them and we're eating with our hands, it's weird, dude. But like when you travel outside the country, because America, again, we're a melting pot. We see so
mhm,
many cultures from around the world coming together. using chopstick, using our hands, eating different types of dishes, saluting, greeting, going to church, going to mosque, going to synagogue. Like that's the benefit of traveling. You know what I mean? Like I understand going from state to state is like important. You should definitely travel in your own country. But like when you leave this country and you go to another part of the world that is completely different and kind of scary, that's that's when in your head when it clicks like, oh shit,
Mhm.
I'm insignificant. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Like you are insignificant and you are not the most important person in the room. No one gives a crap where you know what I mean? If you're in that country, you do what they tell you to do or you do how they do it and you just
Right.
learn. It's just an opportunity to learn, dude.
Yeah. And it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's like why wouldn't you wanna explore, like, a different way to eat or different palettes of food around the world? Oh, I
Yeah,
love,
man.
like, the cuisine around the world. So it's like,
It's
how the
amazing.
hell how did you create this, but we couldn't? Or,
Yeah.
like, how do we have what we have, but you don't? But and
Mhm.
then once you travel outside the US for sure, you'll realize that, America ain't shit, bro. It really isn't at some points, as much as, like, people try to push that, America's number 1.
Right.
That we're the best in everything. Do other countries do other things way better than we do?
Yeah, exactly.
And they have much more respect for everything else we do.
Exactly. And
But
media doesn't help with that either, bro. Everyone think like there's so many comedians like Russell Peters.
Peters, yeah.
He
yeah,
went to
Russell Peters.
yeah, he's just like, oh, I went with the news telling me everything like, you can't even go to Saudi Arabia. Bro, he went to Saudi Arabia and had a great time. The only place he
Yeah,
couldn't visit was Makkah because it's only limited to Muslims. Like they keep it like sacred, you know what I mean?
right.
Sacred place only for Muslims, but no one's stopping you from traveling like Saudi Arabia. There are roads, dude. It's not just camels walking on the street. You know what I mean? Like there's like yes, do they dress differently? Definitely. But like when you're a foreigner in another country, it's just like everywhere else. You know what I mean? Just with different food and different type of language. That's all
Yeah,
that matters.
it's so cool. Like I
Yeah.
love it. Wish I
To
could
be
travel more.
honest, man, I'm not, dude. The one thing that I think I'll do different that you guys are doing with the kids, coming back
Hmm.
to that, dude. I'm probably if I'm gonna take my kids maybe one time to Bolivia, and then I'm not going back there. Dude, no, because like my parents left that place for a fucking reason, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I guess in terms, this might just be my family, dude, but the level of toxicity, like, dude, I personally know, like, the one and only time that I'll go, like, willingly to Bolivia, is gonna be, like, because my parents are gonna force me. I want to visit my grandma's grave, and
Right.
then maybe some other relatives' grave. That's it, dude. Like, it's, like, dude, it sucks, that our parents had to leave, and, like, you guys are right, like, that's the worst risk that they could take. But dude, honestly, man, like my mom has told me multiple times, dude, if they hadn't left, they would have like hated their lives even more than starting over here.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh, for
which
sure.
is one thing that I'm gonna teach my kids, dude. Like I'm gonna be like, dude, like I do want to take them to I guess where my mom grew up, because yeah, my mom grew up in the dirt area, dude. Like their
Right,
houses
right.
were made out of like dirt and like
Clay and all that.
whatever things they could find. It was like,
Mhm.
I mean, even I grew up like that in a house, for a bit, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just, dude, like, dude, the thing with teaching kids, man, like with traveling, yeah, I'm gonna take my kids everywhere, like to multiple places of the world, because you guys are right, dude. Like the reason I think people get so like offensive or offended by people of color, right, or people who aren't like you, is just, dude, they're afraid, man. Like they're fucking scared, because they I feel like this is something that my mom is telling me, dude. Like people who see a foreigner, dude, they immediately just look at him as like a threat, an enemy, right?
Mhm.
At least that's what my mom told me that she believes is the reason why people hate foreigners. And even like you said, like the same thing with like third generation Latinos who voted for Trump and shit, right?
Mhm.
It's like, dude, like I get the point where they're like, yo, like, these people come here, they expect to be given everything. But the thing is, man, like when people come here, dude, they don't expect to be given things, like, they don't
Right.
expect things to get handed to them. And dude, yeah, like in order to make sure my kids don't end up like those fuckers, dude, I'm make my kid work.
Hmm.
Dude, like I'm gonna make him do everything my parents made me do, dude. Like, I'm gonna
Right.
sustain him until he's like 16, 17.
Mhm.
But after that, dude, if motherfucker wants something, he's gonna have to like, work for it. Even when he's like younger, dude. Like, I'm not gonna spoil my kids. Like, I don't care if I have like $3-4 million like lying in my bank account. Like, that's one of the reasons people become ignorant, dude, is because their parents fucking spoil the shit out of them, dude. Like, motherfuckers do not realize that you have to work for things, dude. Like, the reason daddy has $3-4 million, especially if he's a person of fucking color, dude, is because the motherfucker literally started from nothing, dude, and is at the top, right?
Right.
So it's just like, you gotta make your kids fucking work. You gotta hold kids like accountable when they fuck up, right? Like, I don't, dude. I was watching. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. He's like super controversial, but I used to think he was really funny. It was Carlos Mencia. I don't know if you guys know who he is.
I know who he is.
Dude, back in the day, man, I know his jokes are like super risky now.
Yeah.
Dude, but one thing that I appreciate about that guy is that, dude, this guy told it straight. Dude, every race is fucked up. Like some of the dirtiest things that have been done to me have been done by people of my own color.
Right.
People from my own fucking country, dude, have the ones that have done me the dirtiest.
Right.
So at that point, I know it's not just all white people. Like, I know it's just human nature to be fucking like evil and be like fucking hungry for everything. But dude, like, we have to keep our kids in check, right? Like, I'm gonna make sure my kid, goes to whatever school he wants. So yeah, you can get that stuff as long as it's prepping him to, I guess, take off for himself. Because that's sort of what my parents did, dude. Like, I'm moved out now. Like, I'm handling my shit. My parents prepped me to be independent, which is good, dude. Because I'm like, when my parents died, dude, like, I don't expect them to give me anything. I wouldn't want anything.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, but it's also like how an individual was raised. I'm gonna make sure that I have more than one child, and if I can't have more than one child, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, no, you should.
I'm gonna adopt. If I can't have more than one kid, because it's a very varying difference between how people are raised in a household when they're considered the youngest for the rest of their life. That makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, no, I get that there's that thing.
There's a fine line between, like, especially as an only child, and I don't think anyone can relate to it unless you're an only child. And like, the only other person that knows what I'm talking about is Alex, because without being disrespectful, and it's a very, very hard line to cross, you can't really speak your own mind.
With your parents.
Yes, because when you try to go venture off on your own, and no matter how well off or how set off you are, or how prepared your parents have made you, in their eyes, you are the only thing that that they work for. You are the only thing that they've raised their life for, right? And it's very messed up. And I'm gonna try, like, if I do have an only child, and it's very hard to say, I'm gonna try not to do what my parents did. You know what I mean? And like, give them enough freedom to grow, because it's very important. Like, again, every household is different. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not gonna say like I wasn't, I was given a lot of things, but they're basically out of my own will. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Well, okay, I guess is this what you're trying to say? You're trying to say that when you wanted something as a kid, you had to like work for it or earn it or something?
No, like, it wasn't more of work for it, earn it. It's just like, I was the only child, so I was kind of given everything that I needed to succeed. But the problem with that is growth kind of stops when you become an adult, if that makes sense to you. You know what I mean? Like, for example, one of the biggest conversations I've had was about moving out. And the first thing they tell me, why? Like, why do you need to do it? We give you so much. I'm like, 1, you don't. 2, there is no really much freedom. 3, like, you don't understand the difference between my freedom. You know what I mean? And I can't just straight up and say, hey, I want to get out and leave. Like, you know what I mean? There's a very fine line between disrespect and like becoming your own man. And I've said this to you multiple times, Carlos. Again, if I had a younger sibling, I would have been out of here a long time ago. A long time ago.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, man. Yo, for me to move out, dude, it wasn't easy, dude. Like the one person that didn't give me any issues or anything was my dad. Because I relate more to my dad than I do to my mom sometimes, dude. My dad's a very yes or no person, dude. Like, it's either yes, you did this, or no, you didn't, right? Like, he was the whole time, he was just like, okay, like, are you gonna be okay? Like, you feel comfortable, right? Like, you moving in with your girlfriend, like, do you feel like you have enough trust and all that stuff? He asked me the right questions. Like, my mom, dude, it took months of convincing, dude. Like, it wasn't overnight, bro. Like, the process, I think, started 6 months before I actually moved out with my mom, because dude, no, like, I know what you mean. Like, I guess there is a point where you do have to be disrespectful, though.
There is a point,
yeah.
but there's also, like, you have another sibling. Like, I'm not saying, like, your sibling's not living his own life. That's definitely sure. But when something goes wrong, if you're not there, Jorge's there. If Jorge's not there, you're there. I don't have that. Yeah.
But like, see, the thing is, though, like, I think, dude, like, it's a hard conversation. It really is, man, because it was a hard conversation. Because if you think about it, man, like, once my brother turned 18, dude, like, my parents actually couldn't say anything to him and Jorge, right? Just because he was making his own money and stuff,
right?
All that stuff. I know it's different. I know, like, we have different, like, our parents have different ideologies on that.
Yeah, like, right? You were living with your girlfriend.
Yeah,
and that's not allowed in our culture until I'm married.
It's like, what's different. It called? One of the things, man, that about, like, moving out is, like, I was afraid to be, I guess. I was disrespectful in some instances. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I would tell my mom, "Listen, Mom, like, you're not doing me any favors, like, keeping me here.
Right.
Like, I know it's gonna. Like, I told her, even now, like, I go see her, like, 3 times a week, minimum, because I know, like, my mom misses me. It's a parent's, like, innate feeling to make sure that, like, your kids are good, like, they're eating, all that stuff.
Right.
Because, dude, after a certain age, like, that's all our moms, like, really want to do, right? But then I realized it, dude. I was like, yo, listen, man, like, I mean, my mom can be really pissed at me, like, and she was, like, a little pissed at me when I told her, like, hey, like, we're signing the lease, like, this week.
Right.
Because she was like, well, why do you want to leave? Like, you have everything here, like, we give you food, you don't have to pay rent. But I told him, I'm like, Mom, listen, like, the more I stay here with you, it's like, like you said, dude, it's uncomfortable to do certain things in front of your parents. Like, we don't have that freedom, right? Whether, dude, like, at least for me, some things were just like, dude, I love staying up late. Like, I love staying up late and doing these things. Every time I would do that, my parents would just be like, hey, like, why are you staying up late? Like, go to sleep, all this stuff. It just didn't feel comfortable at all. And then, dude, at least what I have noticed from my relationship with my parents now that I'm out, dude, my parents, because of COVID, they can't go out to places, but at least I've seen my parents, like, be a little bit more, like, I guess, relaxed, dude. Like, my parents have started doing things on their own more than they used to when I was at home. I think because they realized that, like, hey, like, we've done our jobs,
Yeah.
And the thing is, dude, like, I was also afraid because I helped my mom out with some of her things, like some of her logistics and stuff. And, dude, like, I do that from my house now too. Like, I just call her and stuff. No, it's
a very burden of responsibility, man. I'm telling you, like,
it sucks.
Like, Carlos, like, I get what you're, like, saying, and I completely agree with you. But, dude, when you're an only child, like, it is a very, very tough process. I've had the conversations with my parents. It's not really even about that. It's just, like, again, like I said, I'm not gonna do to my kids what my parents did to me in terms of, like, handing over unwanted responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, things I didn't ask for. You know what I mean? I didn't like I get it. The fact that I'm able to even complain about the stuff that, like, that's happened is a privilege. But at the same time, it's shit that I didn't want. You know what I mean? That I didn't want this responsibility.
Right. I think
You get what I'm trying to say?
I think I kind of feel that too, and I think Carlos's brother will feel that too, just because
I see it too. Yeah.
Because like even now, I like my sister's playing at colleges, right, and like and I'm encouraging her, like, leave the fucking house, man.
Yeah.
Like, go if you really want to go to New York, go to New York. If you really
Yeah.
want to go to South Carolina, Duke University, go.
Go wherever you want.
Go do that shit, and I'll worry about shit at home. Because for me, I've told you my plan for you guys, to you guys, but I really want to buy my parents a house and make sure they're okay. So
Right.
then I can go do whatever I want, because I can't. Unfortunately, at the moment, maybe if things were different, I can't leave things to my sister. She's barely starting out. She
Yeah, I can't leave anything to
she
anyone.
yeah, I know exactly. I mean, I mean, so it's all to me and my dad to really make it possible for for them to be safe for the future, because they don't have retirement funds like most older people do,
Right.
who already knew the system and how to play it before, because they had to start from nothing, so they didn't have the luxury of knowing how to do it.
Right.
So I'm helping them right now currently how to do their budgets, how to do retirement accounts. But
Yeah,
it's
dude.
and it's tough, because I wish I could just leave. I really wish I
Wait,
could
hold up.
just.
But you guys are telling me you can't do this being 30 minutes away from them?
I
Dude,
I
it's not
personally
even.
can't. It's not even that,
It's
because
not
if
even
I
about
if I
that
live
though.
somewhere else,
No,
my expenses are divided, and,
Yeah.
but
and I can't
guys,
I can't afford a divided
the one
expense.
dude, because the one thing, man, that I like, because I was gonna do the same thing, dude. Because Jorge, he's still with my parents. He's older. He's a family and stuff now, dude.
Yeah.
But dude, there has to be a point where you have to break it, man.
Right? Yeah, that's
Dude,
what I'm saying. That's
there
what I'm trying to get it done now, so I don't have to
that's
do it later.
No,
exactly
I
that's
know.
the conversation we're trying to have right now. It's hard. Like
Yeah.
again, Alex is the only child that I know that's in my friend circle, right? And
Yeah.
he's helping with everything, even though his parents told him not to. But like he's just there. You know what I mean? He's just present and physically there. And unfortunately, that's the position that I'm going to be put into as well. No
Mhm.
matter how much I help, like no matter how much I want to leave, no matter how much I want to do my own thing, it's just not happening anytime soon. You know what I mean? It's just financially does not make any sense. I have cousins who do the same thing. They took over their parents' mortgage, even though he has his own house. So he's basically paying for two mortgages right now. So what's the
Mhm.
point? You know what I mean? What's
Right.
was honestly the point of like making this freedom. It's just a base of cultural things and how like it's not even about how we grew up. It's how like how we grew up with like other siblings or alone or whatever the case may be. And speaking of that, the mortgage thing, right? I want to bring this point up. I was too young to understand this, and like obviously my mom when she bought her first house, she had no
Mhm.
idea what the hell she was doing. So
Right.
what
No
happened
one does.
was she signed a 15-year mortgage lease payment, right? So
Uh-huh.
what that means is after 15 years is over, our mortgage will double, right? So that has happened, and then that happened in 2015 because we got the house in 2001 or 2000. Yeah, 2000 2001 we bought the house. I was 4 years old, dude. I was 4 fucking years. I didn't know any of that shit. So
Right.
like 2015 came by, and she had no idea when she signed the mortgage. It was a 15-year. It wasn't a 30-year fixed mortgage rate. I'm pretty sure you guys know what that means. 30 years means
Mm-hmm.
you pay a fixed mortgage rate with depending on the interest that you receive. With
Right.
the 15 years, your mortgage doubles, but you have a very low interest rate the first 15 years, right? I didn't understand that until I got older. So everything that I do now, they literally come to me for help. Like I have to read everything when they come to me for help. I went to my dad's, like, even though like I didn't have to, I didn't want him to mess it up. He went to his court hearing for a court case. I didn't want him to sign something that he didn't have to sign. You know what I mean? Before
Right.
I read through it. He's not gonna bring a private lawyer with him, right? We don't have that much fucking money to bring in like 3-4 lawyers to check if it's right or not, right?
Right.
So like I had like me sitting down with a mortgage company, like stuff that I never thought I had to do that I'm doing right now because I realized my parents don't know a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm trying to say? They don't know a lot of stuff. Yes, they bought a house. Yes, they did everything, but she didn't know what she was doing. Like she could have signed a 30-year fixed mortgage rate, but she didn't. And now we're dealing with the consequences because we're paying our mortgage double the amount it's actually worth, and it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just small things like that. Like you start realizing as you get older, like yo, they need this help. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like I've just kind of fallen into that cycle. And yeah, I could do it 30 minutes away, but what? My dad's gonna be at my house 5 times out of the week anyway. So what's the point? You know what I mean? You get what I'm trying to say?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But yo, like I'm telling you, man, like, dude, you don't like. I'm telling you from where I saw it, dude. Like, my brother got really deep into it, dude. He's like, 31.
Yeah.
So, dude, and my mom tells me every time, dude. She's like, hey, like, I feel so guilty, because,
Right.
dude, it's like, I'm telling you, bro. You ask your parents, like your parents inside, man. They like you helping them out. It helps them out, dude. But it also makes them feel like a burden, which sucks. Because at least that's what my mom and my
Right.
dad, have told me. They're like, listen, like, we don't want to feel as if we're holding you back. Because I told my mom, like, mom, listen, like, the way like you and dad are sometimes, like, it's a little much, right?
Mhm.
Like I know things. I know like you guys think a different way, but I think completely different. And the thing is, dude, like my mistake was not speaking up until I was like 21. But as soon as I told him, like, mom, listen, like, I'm leaving because I need a sword, dude. Like, if I fuck up, dude, I fuck up. Like, that's on me.
Right.
And then I told him, like, mom, like, like, you have to realize that, like, me being here, like, is making like things worse for both of us. At least it was from I guess from my sense, because yeah, like, you guys are the older ones. Like, my brother's helping them take care of all that stuff. But dude, like there are multiple times where my mom was like, hey, like, I don't want to feel like a burden, because I'm holding you back. I'm not letting you do certain things.
Definitely.
And dude, that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why I'm even like advocating. Like, dude, I completely understand you guys got things that are connected, dude. Right?
I feel
Right.
that, like, and I want to do that, but like just getting older, I'm also holding myself back because I don't want to put them in a stressful situation where they don't. So I can't blame my parents for everything. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Dude,
you feel the
like,
same way. Like,
yeah,
you just
that's
don't
what.
want to leave them behind. You know what I mean?
That's
You
one of the
wanna,
reasons. Dude. The thing is, man. At least that's one thing, dude. That I'm like starting to become more open with, dude. I guess before, dude, I hated change, man. Like, change is something that I guess it's because I was a kid, dude. Like, when we came here, dude, like, change hit me in the fucking face, right? Like, change sucked. It really did. Like, and that's the reason why, like, I was so hesitant. I guess that's the reason why my brother maybe is even hesitant. Because, dude, change is a very, like, difficult thing to go through. And I hate, like, dragging my feet on things sometimes, dude, because, I get, like, frustrated at myself. And then I was, like, starting to take it out of myself, there be days where I'd just be pissed off, like, when I was at home, because I'm like, fuck, like, I can't do anything in my house. Like, even though, like, my parents let my girlfriend, like, stay in there. At that point, dude, I kind of sound like a spoiled brat, but like, mentally, man, like, I couldn't do it anymore, dude. Like, I hated seeing, like, seeing my mom and my dad argue, and stuff. Like, I hated, and the thing is that when my parents would argue and stuff in front of me, it would make it so much worse for them, because, dude, like, privacy is a very, very nice thing, dude. Like, even for our parents, like, giving them the privacy to do their shit. Because our parents are human too, dude. Like, there were multiple times where,
mistakes. Like,
yeah,
they
we're
don't know everything. Like, that's one of the biggest things that we have, like, growing up, realize, like, they're not fucking superheroes. Dude.
no, dude. Like,
They
they're
make
figuring
dumb
things out.
decisions. They make stupid things, like, just like us. Like,
Yeah.
we make the same mistakes just like we do. The only difference is they've been on this earth longer than we have. You know what I mean? That's the
So
only difference.
that's why it's hard. Right? Like, it's hard to, like, because, dude, no, like, in reality, man, like, I give anything to my parents, right? I really would. But the thing is, dude, like, I realized I needed to start setting boundaries because, dude, like,
Yeah, it's
it's
not a
just,
matter of like freedom for me. Like, I don't really have anything holding me back at home. It's just more of like our values that we hold. Like, for example, like, again, I told you, like, if I was, proper, I wouldn't want to bring home girls. I'd be doing like, I wouldn't be drinking. I wouldn't be like, doing all this other stuff. You know what I mean? But I would want to do that in my own spot. You know what I mean? Like, if I had my own, that's the only reason. Like, that's technically the only privacy reason that I would need to like move out and grow on my own. Other than that, like, there's not really much holding me back. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
but see, dude, like, is see, Isn't that something that's super important though? Like the social aspect.
That is definitely important. Like I can definitely see why.
Because our parents.
But the thing is though, like they're not gonna be around forever. Obviously, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
I'm saying is like when you're dating someone from the same culture, like why do you think I keep advocating for finding someone that's like just like the same position or same cultural aspect views? They won't have that why can't I stay over? They will never ask that. You know what I mean? Because they know they're hip. You know what I mean? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. They wouldn't be like, oh, like what the heck? Like, why haven't you introduced me to your parents yet? Because you know why. Like it's just a cultural thing. It's a cultural difference. That's why I keep pushing for like someone that's that's in the same, that's hip as I am, but also understand the cultural values that like my parents. It may not be important to everybody, like, but it's still important to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like disrespect them. Like, again, every house is different. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you living with your girlfriend, but like you come from a different background. Like, if you grew up in like a Muslim background, that'd be different. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot.
Are you gonna keep the? All right, like when you have a kid, right, and he wants to bring home a girl.
Yeah.
What is gonna be your stance on that? Are you gonna?
I mean, she's gonna go to college. You can do whatever. You can't bring. Like you could bring him. We can bring him over, but no one's spending the night, because that kind of sends like a difference for me. That's more of a personal, not more of a religious view.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's disrespectful to me.
What age?
I mean, they could stay as long as they want with me. Like, I'm not gonna tell them to leave. You know
oh
what I mean?
No, I meant with the thing though.
If they're in high school, they want to bring a girl over. Fine, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
But like, no one's spending the night. Like, that's not happening under my roof. Like, that's more of like not even more of a personal. It's just not happening. Like, I find it really disrespectful. Like in my terms, because it's my home. You know what I mean? If it's my house, it's my rules. I can say whatever I want. If you want to go find it, I'm not stopping my kid from moving out. They can do whatever they want. You want to stay with me until you're 25, get your feet off the ground? Great, do that. You want to leave when you're 18? Great, do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna stop it. But if you want to make your own rules, go to your own house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
I'm really happy that I can do anything here.
Yeah.
It's no, dude. I'm not trying to like dismiss with that burden you guys have. Like I know you guys have dude. It is a burden. I'm not gonna be blunt with you guys. You guys got a burden put on you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not something that I would wish on someone, dude. It really isn't. I see my brother, through it. It sucks, dude. But I don't know, dude. Like it's a lot of different things, dude. Because like socially, man, like, dude, I want my kids to be able to like tell me. I want them to be comfortable enough to tell me things, dude.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Like,
yeah.
That relationship's gonna stem on for, again, it's very different, but I'm just gonna have like certain things that I'm still gonna take over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But see, dude, because like there are a lot of things, man, that I can't. Even to this day, dude. Like, I know like I wouldn't feel comfortable telling my parents. I know once I'm like 30, dude, I'm not gonna care. I'll be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But you said I'm still fighting with that part of me, dude. Which sucks because, dude, I know I hated being at home. Just because, dude, like, I just felt like I honestly felt like I was in the way. Because, dude, I was in such a weird timing, dude. Like, just graduated college, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the pandemic.
Right.
It's just, especially the pandemic, dude, being in the house with so many people, you realize how, like, how easy it is to clash with fucking family.
Exactly. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to leave. It wasn't because like, hey, like, where are you? Like, it's midnight. Like, my parents stopped asking that a long time ago. I'm a grown ass. I could, stay out till like 5. I do that. It doesn't matter. That's not the main point. Like, I can literally do whatever I want. It's just that original thing with like, bringing people over, one, and then the two is more of like the arguments that stem in the household that I don't want to be a part of, and like that burden that carries on. Other than that, I can pretty much do anything I want. You know what I mean? There's nothing really stopping me from doing what I want. it's just more of like that initial, like you said, like the arguments stemming from it, like, you know, giving them that freedom to like walk away and stuff like that. Hello?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, dude, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully we're the change of that generation, and then hopefully, you know, things work out that we hopefully aren't doing this for too much longer, and are able to, uh, you know, achieve our goals.
Of
Uh,
course, man. Of course.
as soon as possible, but as safely as possible and as correctly as possible.
People are not going to be in our lives for a long time, man. There's going to be always a room to be growing. Like, you just got to take it with a grain of salt with everything that happens. We can grow, learn from mistakes.
Yeah, man. That's what part of life is, man. That's as beautiful it is, it can suck sometimes. But oh man, but I think that's, you know, that covers a wide range of topics that we talked about today.
We've hopped around a lot.
Yeah, dude, we went from racist to
We've
to
hopped
our
around
own.
a lot.
All right, yo, but if any racist is listening to this, man, you know how we fucking just, you know, had a conversation about it, shit. Like, you guys, motherfuckers, need to have these conversations. If you're a Trump supporter listening to this shit, read a fucking article that isn't from like Fox, dude, or like look into successful people that are of color, right? Look at where these people have fucking come from. So, you know,
Yeah, don't get your articles from like redneck.com or something.
The Onion,
or like the Onion, like, you know,
The Onion,
I think now they're like condemning Fox News because they're being biased, but
Newsmax or whatever.
yeah, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
you could try those sites, but you know, go to like 10 other sites and see what their point of view is, and if it lines up with you at the end of the day, well, you know, go fuck yourself at that point. But just get, you know, keep learning. Nothing wrong with that. Go on YouTube, explore other countries, try learning a new language. It helps a lot if you want to learn about the other culture. Try their food. That's even better. It's more fun.
Yeah.
A little bit more expensive, but you know, food's pretty bomb. But other than that, I don't have any other closing remarks. I don't know if Carlos or Habib has any.
No, that's pretty much it. We kind of covered a lot of variety of topics.
I'm good. This is a good conversation. I liked it.
Yeah, you know, and you know, out there, people who are listening, just, you know, talk to people of other thoughts and beliefs and cultures. You'll find it surprising how much you can learn just by having a simple conversation with them.
Exactly, and make friends that aren't just white people.
Yeah, you know,
if you're like a person of color, like talk to white people too.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, they're pretty cool. They're not too bad.
Some of them.
I've had a lot
Different
of experience.
races, different religions. Learn about cultures. It helps, man.
Yeah, man. It's fun, man. You don't want to learn. You don't want to live the same life over and over again. If you can explore a different avenue of life, and you know, why not do it? It's so much better for your health and your mental health to know why others do what they do, and it's just so fun to explore. But other than that, I hope everyone takes care. You know, like the video, share it if you can. But other than that, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.